Edith, listen carefully. When I go, I want all my money in the coffin with me.
All of it?
Every penny. I'm taking it with me.
Promise me, Edith.
Arthur, I promise.
Good. A man should leave this world financially prepared.
A few weeks later, Arthur's final day came.
Edith, you're not actually doing what he asked, are you?
Mavis, I gave him my word.
We're ready to close the casket now.
Wait a moment, please.
Please tell me you didn't put all that money in there.
Of course I did. I'm a Christian woman. I don't break promises. Every penny? Every penny.
I put it in my account and wrote him a check.
Was that funny? Yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It is Labor Day being celebrated today, even though it's usually on the 23rd, and we don't understand we need the holiday. So, how have you all been laboring? What have you been doing? Or did you do whatever you needed to do on Labor Day, which was Saturday? I'm here with the phone. I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb, so we don't get no call like what happened before. Yes, so let me welcome everyone to Jamaica 411. I am starting a new edition called Let's Talk Jamaica. Yes, so I have to put it on here. Oh, let me see. Give me a second. Here we go. Welcome to Jamaica 411. How's everybody? How's your weekend so far? Are you rested? Now is the time to rest, no excuses at all. My little cousin was telling me, boy, she feel lazy. I said, why you feel lazy? I don't know, because she now do not. I said, may I ask you, what do you do for 6 days of the week? Of course, she knows there is a checkmate question that. So, of course, she didn't answer, but I know 6 days of the week you're working and your body not complaining and that you feel lazy. So for the one little day when the body is saying, sweetie pie, lie down and rest. Make we rest today. The whole of we have a rest today. No, mind mustn't tell you so you feel lazy, man. You must rest. And that's all is something work. Yes. So anyway, she gone with her mother. So me one is here, but my cousins won't come and call me. But you know how it go. I'm actually in Kingston, not in the country. I'm going to be getting a webcam. Hopefully, the system will be better. And this delay is going to annoy me no end. And I think I am going to switch to StreamYard if it continue. Me not see no reason why me feel fiddle with technology when technology is supposed to serve me. Me I serve technology. Yes. In other words, the program have a bug in it and I pay too much money for me if I go sit down and work for my brain on this bug. Anyway, tired of working. Tired of it. Anyhow, now that we've got the greetings out of the way, you want to know what we're talking about today. Well, let me consult. We're going to be talking about, and I'm going to be showing you about 3 videos. And we'll be talking about Nekeisha Burchell. She liked the attention, and I think when somebody likes something, we should please them and give them the attention that they want. Don't you agree? Yes, man, if you are the attention, man. Like we say how she like it. There are many persons going to music and movies and they want it to be famous. And when they reach, then find out how hard it is. First of all, I know life, they have to walk with big eyeglasses and things on their head to get little privacy. And they complain, people chat to them, all kinds of things happen in their life that never happened before. So, if she think that popularity is a good thing, make we give to her. Yes, man. And there was a press conference that the PNP had done a couple of weeks ago, where they were attempting to scandalize the Spark program, which is the program that the government had to fix roads. And they called this press conference to make the point that the Spark now Spark. So she said that the government, what they're hinting at, the government established a Spark program, not because it wanted to do anything for the roads in Jamaica, But because the roads of Jamaica was a problem and a big event was taking place on the 3rd of September, then decide that they're going to start up this little thing. And then now, when the big event done and then win, then park it is the message that I'm trying to give to the public. Now, the question is, was that true? Was the message that the government parked the Spark program, was it true? Well, Nekeisha Burchell, like the chatty mouth woman that she is, then says she bright, but boy, brightness. Let me tell you, a lot of people confuse issues. A person speaks English and speak it well, and them say them bright. Well, them bright in English, but the content of the conversation is what one must look at. If you're going to look on the brightness of the person, it's the content of the conversation that will make them bright. And yes, she might go to university and you might give her anything to do, and she regurgitate. You tell her what the answer is, and she can write it back down on paper because she has good memory. That now some people say them bright because they have whole heap of papers to show so them can retain information and maybe turn it into their own words, and maybe they can add a little something to it. And so people say, yes, man, them bright. Now, the last set of bright people now are the one who are actually bright. Those people are knowledgeable on certain subject. Now, enough people think they me bright because you can turn an argument or look on something and analyze it and come to what I hope is the way to look at it. And I said to them, but you bright too? No, so I'm not bright like you. I say, oh yeah. I say, well, put me in the kitchen and you will see how bright I am. And then the whole of them start to laugh because they understand exactly what it is I'm talking about. Everybody is bright in their own way. Some people are gifted in different ways. And my gift may not be your gift, and it may not be somebody else's gift. But all of it come together, and in the pool of gifts, we are of a benefit to each other. I hear the person now come and whistle like hell. No, and it is disturbing me. I don't know what it is about a man whistling that we have to stop and listen. Anyway, the argument that I'm making is this, that Nekeisha Burchell might have done very well in school, and she might well be a bright person when it comes to speaking and so on. She might be a master of the English language. But as I said before, it is the content of the conversation that will determine, in my view, whether you're really and truly bright. I don't know what you think. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Down row, and then there's Anthony White. Hey, Anthony. Professor called me, me not take them name because I don't post there at all. And then there's Kelvin, Mambi. Mambi, it's an interesting name. Shanoy. Hi, Shanoy. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Geneva. Santa. Wow, Santa, what are you bringing for Christmas? Hi, Santa. And then there is Rosenell. Is that Rosenell? Taylor? Rosenella. Yes. And Brain Works. Clever. Yes, sir. Afternoon to you too. Maxine Anderson. Winsome Nemhard Shaw. And then there's Marcia Keaton. Ever present man. All of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And then there's Aunt Dawn. Oh no, I'll think about Karen's psychoanalysis of Nekeisha Burchell. Amateur psychoanalysis are all the same, but guess what? Sometimes it's not good when you have papers, it's good for you to be useful to people professionally. It's good also for you to be able to, provide for your family. But sometimes when you have the qualification and you see things are going on, people, you can't come out and comment. Had Karen been a psychiatrist or a psychologist, psychoanalyzing somebody like that, she might have getting a problem, their profession. But comment, thank you very much. And there's Amdal, yes. I scroll on quick and fast. Eric Bell, hey, Master, you have one big name there, no? Derek Blake, and then there is Acedona Reddy Bella. How you doing, my darlings? Yes, and then there is Yardman Sports Review, my Jamaican Matlock. Yes, sir. How you do, sir? Yes, man. Martin Scott, Clinton Cole, Patrick Warmington. Wow, it's a big name. And Stacy, afternoon to you all. So, let we continue with Miss Burchell now. Now, every now and then, We're going to do one of my little, everybody at time says something wrong with my throat. Excuse me. Now, Nekeisha Burchell might be good on all these things, but the content of her conversation, I find, is not deep. But we have to remember and be fair to Nekeisha Burchell is that she's a young lady, somewhere in her late 30s or early 40s. And when we were that age, some of us, we never as bright as we are today. But you should at least see the trend in the person to say, maybe in another 20 years, man, I can't wait to see what they would be. But I don't know if there's any hope for this miss, right? And and so she is not deep. She's shallow and she is self-absorbed and self-centered, right? And at the same time, she has low self-esteem. And that is the reason for all this makeup and all this false eyelash and the false this and false that and all that kind of thing there. And Natalie will be doing a program. I don't know if she on now or later. And I want you all to tune in because she have a bombshell to bust too. So I think we can all agree as amateurs that there appears to be something the matter with this miss. Yes, she has a fixation on the Prime Minister. She also appears to have a fixation on men. And some women are attracted and probably sexually attracted to him. And that is the way they get off, become, yes, you know me I talk about, with powerful men. And don't matter whether the powerful men, a prime minister, or a Don man, or some mafia man, or some movie star, or some singer. Don't matter. They are attracted to and they get their sexual, rise from being from these powerful people. Just the idea of the power. Some of the people may just be a little drugs man with a whole heap of money and still have power, and have purchasing power, and women find all of that attractive, some of them. And sad to say, this is appears to me to be the life of this personality we call Nekeisha Burchell. Now, after her, now we're going to be talking about um, the interview that she did with Neville Burchell on TBG, the morning program, and we're going to show a little clip from Dion Jackson Miller. She chimed into it as well. And then we're going to be speaking about Nekeisha Burchell and Miss Little Bit of Blood, and the fact that Miss Little Bit of Blood is now out of the picture. And it looks like a Nekeisha Burchell take over from her now to be the one to bring down the PNP, right? Yes, the Miss Little Bit of Blood, I suppose she could say that she went to good school and she got educated. I don't know if she have a degree or all something there. And although as a comrade, when she used to have her little program, she didn't want too bad, and then she got the car ahead with them a bad company risers, right? And I will talk a little bit more about that. So that more or less is what the program going to be about. And I hope you find it interesting. Yes. Now, we're going to be talking about Nekeisha Burchell and what appears to me to be her loose thinking. Her thinking is loose, and by extension, she ends with a loose mouth. Based upon listening to her, it does not appear to me that she's a young woman of very high moral standard. Her moral standard appears to me to be very low, right? And when you add an evidently a lack of intelligence, which is why she would have low moral standard and a loose thinking and loose mouth. Now, I want to give you a little joke. I see that I'm frozen. I want to give you a little joke. When I was doing the thing for Nekeisha, it was on Friday, that I prepared this video and I said I'm going to video one day, 3 days in a row. And I made the thumbnail called, what we call the thumbnail? Um, what is what is it? But when I made the thumbnail talking about Jesus, it happens sometimes, my dear. When you get into the senior, all kind of senior moments occur. one man said, turn to Cliff Hughes. I'm a turn to Cliff Hughes. I'm hear the guy who was doing a program on a Friday. And him say the same thing. I said, but Lord have mercy, don't ever use it. Mr. May use my thumbnail, can me first. I'm the first to have this idea, right? I'm being first to have this idea about this young lady and her let me see now. Let's see where it is. Give me a second. Foot in mouth disease. Foot in mouth disease is what the thumbnail is. And then it was on his program that I heard about the fix. I didn't know she did something on the fix. And he was playing it and he was quite alarmed. And then, of course, it took off everybody. And between me and you, I don't know why it is that these PNP people insist on going on that particular program, the fix. Because them two little mild-mannered young people, the young man and the young woman, don't know their name. I apologize to them for not knowing your name. That's very out of order of me. No manners at all. Right? I won't get to the name next time and I'll mention it. But the two little young people on the fix, they're very mild-mannered. They ask little mild questions and they make you feel quite at home to the point where you might forget to say it on camera. It was on that program that Mark Golding had revealed for the first time that he was a British subject. But though we saw the program, it went on for 1 hour, and me personally never watched it the whole way through. So we did not know that he had said it. It wasn't until when he saw what the committee that was looking into the constitution reform, and he saw what they had agreed to, and him to say no dual citizen can sit in the parliament. Remember what was going on? Him take up this thing on him own, and him don't agree with it, and him draw with the two PNP people and from the committee, and he went on with one something, and then we got suspicious, and I asked the question, and then I remember something when I read long time about being a citizen of the United Kingdom by descent. Me go look it up. And sure enough, me accuse him. You are a British citizen, based upon so and so and so. And then Vegas and others, of course, chime in and might have the independent idea. You know how these things go. Great minds think alike. And so we start. And eventually go up on the morning program again with Delia. And Delia asked him a little mild question and live a little bit more. Right? It was on the fix that it started. It is a big platform apparently. And then decides that them go up on this platform. But the little young people have a way to get them to say things when they never come there to say. Right? And she gonna take up herself going up on this program. And the amount of something will fly out of her mouth. Right? Is amazing. So we're going to be looking at that video. Now, as I said before, we all agree that low self-esteem is part of our problem. The shallowness and the lack of depth in our conversation, you can hear it. And this is when you're talking about something that's supposed to be a public matter, which, by the way, folks, is not a public matter. Remember what the discussion started on. Patois not allowed to be spoken in the parliament. What does that mean? It means it don't have nothing to do with we. It's the parliament, and it's the 84 of them in the 63 in the lower house and the 21 in the Senate. And them is restricted from talking about. So it's for them to do something about it. It is for them problem, and at them alone in the house. And therefore, at them alone it affect. It is not our concern. It does not fix the pothole when they want it fixed. It don't have nothing to do with the price of cheese. Whether the people them get good education, yes or no, don't have nothing to do with that. It don't have anything to do with what are going on in the hospital, right? It does not provide an extra bed or an extra room. It has nothing whatsoever to do with us. So even though we made a little comment about that, people like Carolyn Cooper, professor, and Dion Jackson and others, then want to make a big deal about it. Well, that's a them problem. It is not our problem. It is the parliament's problem. And so beyond making a comment about it, the argument done. Except Ms. Nekeisha Burchell is out in the public, and she's saying some things now that extend the argument beyond just the patois. And that is what we'll be talking about today. Now, she spoke about her rise in the PNP on the fix. Them ask her, so how did you become a member of parliament? Very mild question, And she paused and she said, well, the people of Garland, which is which part she said she come from, called her and said to her, say, we need you to come here. You're going to hear the conversation. We need you to come and represent us. And I did pick somebody else, and then it never got through. Somebody decide for her. That's a fair argument. But the fact of the matter is that had people like Peter Phillips, Portia, PJ, caliber persons like that in the PNP, she, as a member, would have never reached nowhere. Not even General Secretary, deputy she would have gotten. She got to where she is because she aligned with a faction in the PNP that overthrew the older PNP and all of what them stand for. And because she's the victor, as well as the British tourist Mark Bowling and his uppity Negro Peter Bunting, them are the victors. They now get to share the spoils. And the spoil that she wanted, like any war, she wanted fair, you know, she wanted what she wanted for her part that she played in the overthrow of the PNP and make it now a rice party. And so her spoils was to first become Deputy General Secretary. I don't know who voted because I think the NEC is supposed to vote for, well, the NEC is supposed to vote for the General Secretary. And maybe they are the ones that also select the four Deputy General Secretary. But, so she got that. The first thing she was, by the way, the first thing she was after the overthrow, the PNP and Mark Bowling won the election, is that she was a media communicator, the media unit, in charge of the media unit at the OLO and I think PNP headquarters. And she's still that, give it up. Then she was made um, one of the four deputy general secretaries in charge of communication, you understand? And then all in a sudden she gets a seat. No, the Constitution says that the delegates of the party must select the candidates that is going to represent them in the general election and in the local government election. It doesn't mean that the party central can't send somebody and beg them, we need this person for this reason or for that reason. And then by that extension, will then get, the delegates will go and vote and have that person represent them. That is the party constitution. Somebody need to ask Nekeisha Burchell, is who elected she to represent the people in South St. James? Who elected her? There was no election as far as we know. She was imposed on the people because that was part of the spoils of war and she wanted her fair share and she got the seat that she wanted. She wanted a seat and then sent her down a South St. James because it was available. Kelly was a running back. Kelly's nephew or cousin or somebody, Martin Kelly, I think, wanted the seat. So did others. Everybody was pushed aside and it was given to her. Now, mark you, it was a seat that the JLP won and it's a tough fight. Whole heap of JLP, whole heap of PNP, and not much separate them, right? And she won by what, 206 votes or 7 votes or 107 votes, a small margin. And she won because Homer Davis seemed as if the Peter principle reached him, right? When I was living in Copperwood back in 2010, thereabouts, 2011, he gave the people water. He became councillor and then mayor, and I don't know what kind of job he was doing. I wasn't there. But when he became an MP, a lot of Labourites had a problem with him. He seemed not to have been paying attention to the constituency. And because of the fallout, she was able to succeed. And not by much. So the PNP people, many of whom would have a problem with her, right? They went ahead anyway and elected her. We warn them and tell them, don't put this riser in the parliament. She don't even look like a politician. She don't behave like a politician. You have to have people in your mind and in your whole system to represent. She just don't look the part to me, right? But she got it, and she went and did the political work, and she won the seat. When I take it from her, and 20 people said money spend. Of course, I'm had to spend money. But only for PNP people, not in a number, we're not polling and them and that crowd. So anyway, that was how she got the seat. She was imposed on the people. Nobody elected her, right? And Kelly had already set up a base of risers down here, so they never complained when Kelly come and introduce her, and Bunting came and introduced her. If you look at Karen's video, you see that photo. I believe that when them introduce her, so she ever represent them. So when she talk about the people of Garland call her to represent, that is not how she get it. She was not brought before the delegates or the membership in South St. James for and voted done. You understand? They never vote, so they want her. So therefore, she got it because it is what she wanted as a part of the spoils of helping to overthrow the PNP. No. So I saw she get the seat and I saw she get the others. Right? Now, she has a definite problem with rules. Did you notice that? And when you hear the video that I'm about to play, and just listen to how she think Parliament should run, not how Parliament is, how Parliament should run, and what she think the Speaker should have done, and what the Speaker should not have done, right? It's telling us she has a problem with rules. And it is the same thing that went on in the PNP. Right now, they might run the party based upon what they feel like doing. The party's constitution don't count. And the little jellyback one them what them have inside here don't have the guts to stand up to them, even though they are in the majority. You follow me? Yes. So that is Nekeisha Burchell. Now, she made some comments about the speaker. And you're going to listen to the points. I'm going to bring it to you now, and I want you to listen. She spoke about the speaker did not rise to the occasion and allow her to talk part of it 2-3 minutes. No. I don't know what she think Parliament is. She must think that's some kind of patty shop. Maybe fish market. Maybe Carnation Market. I don't know what she think Parliament is. Maybe she think Parliament is the PNP, right? Her fair PNP now, when I call it new PNP. So you know, new PNP. But the speaker has no power. The speaker is empowered by the standing orders. Let me explain to you. And she going to hear some chatter, so she'll come listen. Right? Now, the speaker has power only to do what the standing orders say she's to do, nothing else. If the standing order says this is the way to go, she has to abide by the standing order. If the standing order says this is your discretion, then she, of course, uses her discretion. And one discretion she has is with timing. The Parliament, I need you to understand, is no different from the courts. The courts and has its own civil procedure rules, 2002, 2006, whichever one. It's a procedure that every lawyer is supposed to follow when they're in the court. It tells you what documents, if you're going to bring a matter to the court's attention, you need to use certain documents. If it's a lawsuit, then you use a claim form and a particulars of claim, and they tell you what you must do and what you must send to the opponent. And it is time bound. Everything in the court is time bound. It is the same thing with the Parliament. Parliament is time bound. Everything that you do in Parliament has a time limit, and you can ask for more time. The standing orders tell you that. No, it has a procedure how them should flow, right? Some of you, when you go to church, there's no law that tell the pastor how to run in church, but you may have a certain order. You may have greetings, and then you have praise and worship, and then the altar call or whatever, and it's in a sequence. Every Sunday it was the same thing every Saturday. Agree? Yes. So the parliament is time bound, and she has the power under the standing orders to use her discretion in terms of time. She can increase the time, she can give them less time. Now, the standing order at 86 says that you can suspend the standing orders, the rules, and move a motion if you want particular things to be done. So if you want to speak in patois or another language, you need to move a motion. And 86 is what you use. And 86 is what gives the speaker the power to enable the speaking of patois, if that is what you want to do, or any other language you want to talk, right? It's not a matter of permission. You can't go to the you can't go to the speaker. I mean, hear that the speaker had said that she had given permission to Terry Long to speak Spanish. I'm not saying it work either. You cannot give permission. You have to follow the rules of the parliament. It is a procedure that makes the whole thing fair for everybody. And if you want to speak in a different language, it tells you how to go about it. And the speaker can only allow you to speak patois if you follow those rules. She don't have no power to make you do it. She can't give you an opportunity to speak for 2-3 minutes. She would be breaking the rules. And somebody, Warmy was there. Should I hear about it? Right? But Warmy was not there. As Terry Long heard about it from Warmy when he was trying to speak Spanish, right? So that is part of it. Now, she went on to talk about let me tell you what Nekeisha Burchell did that day when she went to make her presentation. She sat down. I don't know if it was she alone. Maybe she sound like a very pea-brain idea. I don't think Bunting would have been involved in that necessarily. But she decided that she is going to embarrass the speaker. That was her motivation. She said it. She's very predictable. So she knew that when she started, she was going to stop her. And Juliet realized that them set a trap for her. So she said she knows. So she didn't bother tell her about 86 and do no motion because she realized it is a trap. And she just walked straight into the trap and do what she's supposed to do. And we out here to do what we supposed to do when she carry on with her behavior. So she said the speaker is predictable. Oh, she's very predictable. She didn't rise to the occasion talking about culture and her culture, right? And this is a thing about culture. So she could have you ever hear her? She could have eased up and allow me to speak. Now why would she do that? When the rules of the house says what you should do, she never wanted to do it. She knew and she didn't want to do it. So she think that the speaker is the one now should break the rules now to enable her to speak the 2 lines in patois. I would have liked to know from her, how would the speaker knows that 2 lines you went chat, Mrs. You never told the speaker you were going to speak in any other language other than standard English. You never discussed it with her. She did not know. So how would she enable you to speak for 2 lines? I said she had tried to set up this speaker. Forget popularity. She getting it now, and she getting backside to labor to not give her help. She all reach international press. Miami, the Guardian, a foreign, highlight it. And the people in the comment section, we don't understand anything, think it's bad. It's bad that they can't speak the one language and things. We have a distinct language from English. They don't understand the English. We talk with a little mix up, and then we call it patois. Right? So that is what she did now. Try set up the speaker. I thought about her. She could have allowed me to speak those 2 sentences as if to say the speaker is a mind reader. Right? Now, only Rule 87 could have allowed the speaker. 86 is only Rule 86 of the standing order could have allowed the speaker to give her an opportunity to speak. Are you understand me? The standing order created the speaker. The Constitution created the speaker. The standing order is what determine how Parliament must behave. It was not Juliet Holness. It was not Mikey Peart. It was not Dalrymple. It was not Parnell Charles and all the other speakers before who made the rules, right? It was from way back in the Norman Malley days when the Parliament started. And they make the rules, probably based upon what the English and other people do in the Commonwealth. So she inherited these rules, and she's carrying out the rules. And if this little miss think that Juliet Holness is bad, she should have been in the Parliament when Dalrymple was the Speaker. Talk to me. And if many of you remember hearing all a hint about she got the position because about who her husband is. She was a deputy speaker when Dalrymple was a speaker. You remember that? Yes. And then when Dalrymple got into trouble and she had to take care of herself, the House decided that she would be the speaker. Now, Mr. Clark, he not look like him ready for the speakership position because a whole for slackness of one other thing watch when he must speak, when he's there. Much to the liking, I'm sure, of the risers, but then they're not too like what he must say either, couldn't report to the Parliament because he refused to allow the free for all that them seem to want to take the Parliament for. Now, she talked about shock value. She went to be talking about shock value, that the reason why she spoke in the patois for just the two sentences is to create a shock value to get the conversation going. And then she talked about in order to evolve our culture. Now, the conversation that she's getting going, right? What is she talking about? Them speaking patois, English, French, German, or any other language in our parliament. And nothing to do with we. As long as when they chat, we understand. We out here talk how we feel like talking. When we get up in the morning and we have a dream, interesting dream, it tells somebody about a dream. What an interesting dream, nice dream, sweet dream, or bad dream, nightmare. When we step out and we see the patrol them out on the road, we have a problem. And them things that we are talking about. We talk about the prices in the supermarket, or we talk about the prices in the market. We talk about the Iran war, and then talk, and them not saying to themselves, let me chat in patois to them, let me chat in English to them, just talk and communicate, and the other people understand, and a conversation is going. So for her to talk about she's starting a conversation with this a shock value, to start a conversation that actually has to do with the parliament alone, nothing to do with the rest of us. I don't know. I don't know what it is that she is about. And when I tell her that she has very limited understanding of things, this is a perfect example, right? It's people like Caroline Cooper, these people who are educated and well fed, living nicely and earning good money. They might have to sit down to them rubbish. And you're going to hear Dion Jackson Miller amazement that the people aren't talking about it. And this is the reason why people are not talking about it. Because they don't care. A parliament problem that, you're not going to deal with it. You get me? Okay. Now, let me now turn the video. Let me see if I have anything else to make a point. Oh, yes. Did you notice? And I know it's she that is under the, I know it's she that is under my video seminar. And I don't say nothing, I don't, if she come and me not care. You talk anything you want to talk. But you notice she has this habit of referring to Sam Sharp. Well, I will come back to that after, right? But she has a habit of referring to Sam Sharp as if to say Sam Sharp was a rebel. There was a system exploiting the black people, and Sam Sharp decided to do something about it. And she therefore believed, I don't know, she wants us to believe that she is being rebellious in the parliament because, she has something to do with Sam Sharp. But I have a comment to make, and I don't think she's going to like what it is that I have to say. Because when she talk about Sam Sharp, she's going back into history. And me like to talk about the ancestors. And me like to talk about something about genetics, about this thing about who you are, never come from anywhere else. It come from within your bloodline and your family line. Everything that you are coming from your mother and your father, it not come from anywhere else. It's one of your ancestors for the millions of years, and if you mix up with them other set of people for the thousands of years that they've been on earth, and them combine and make you who you are, and one or two of them dominate you. And then now, once them dominate you, you are now responding to the environment that you are in. And that is what every single one of us are. We not new. There's nothing new under the sun when it comes to our personality. If we had old people who know we old people and get hear, Lord God, Kupama so and so, or look me so and so in this child. And sometimes their attitude about the child that you don't know where it come from. Being that Nekeisha Burchell come from a Christian home with her father a pastor and I think a big family. I don't know how the other children behave, but maybe she's behaving outside of what the family might ever seen, which means that somebody way back is dominating in her today. And I will tell you something and my opinion about that. But for now, me tell you about all them whole person thing I'm gonna show you yet. So let me start to run some of the video them on you now. Yes, man. So the first one we're going to be listening to is the Spark. Now listen good when she speak about the Spark program, because she is going to give the impression that Spark is not sparking. But because she chats so much, as like me chat plenty, not no lie, she eventually, just like Miss Little Bit of Blood used to do, she eventually made it slip that there are contracts that were issued. She said, no, Spark. She said only one road affixed, one near Bennett Street or something like that. Right? And she said the other one then no start. And yet she makes slip that she was asked to present liaison workers. And then she said one road, she said no, 10 roads. 10 roads I get, So Homer Davis would have submitted 10 roads when he was the MP to Spark for him and the people would sit down and then would decide that these 10 roads are going to fix. And then it's in the program, but they're not fix. They're not going to fix. No, based upon what she said they asked for liaison for the 10 roads. And she submitted the names, and all now the contractors now get back to none of the of those liaison person. But guess what she revealed? For there to be a contract, it meant that it went through the process of selection, and contractors were selected to fix the road. The money is therefore allocated for the fixing of the road. It's just that it not start yet. So them come to scandalize Spark and claim that Spark was an election gimmick, and they have no intention to fix these roads. And she got let out her mouth. Said they were contractors for 10 roads. And what she did, she defeated the purpose by which the conference was called for in the first place. You see, when I say she's another mystical bit of blood, that's exactly what Kamala used to do. Kamala, she used to, anytime them have any plan, she come out and say something else, right? And in saying something else, reveal the plot that then come with. And so we know the resistance said no. Said this was up or that was up. And you used to lick them down hard. I'll have to follow Kamala's page. And okay, what secret them have? She hint, and she hint so much that we put the two and two together till we get the whole picture. And come out and say what them a plan for do, and them had to push it one side. Right? So she revealed in her commentary that the government, the Spark program, has the 10 roads, then soon fix. They're not start fix yet, but then soon fix because contractors were selected and the money put by for the roads to be fixed. So the people of South St. James, when you heard that conference, I don't know if you were paying as close attention to her as I did, but your road soon fix. Them 10 roads at Homer Davis selected, soon fix. And Spark will soon spark for you.
Let's take the case of South St. James, which is in the parish of St. James, naturally. There are 5 constituencies in St. James. When we look at the report submitted by the National Works Agency at the PAAC about 2 weeks ago, we see a constituency that has been left behind while the 4 others are taking some steps forward. 10 roads were identified in South St. James for reconstruction on the spark. But the gash is only in 1 road, and that is the Brissett Road. That's the only road out of the 10 roads that has seen any work at all under the Spark program. And when we say work, we mean the road has been dug up, and it's now a muggy bog. So people can't even use the road because no work, not sparking on even Brissett Road. The other 9 roads in South St. James, nothing going on for them. Because up to this date, we were asked as the representatives to submit liaisons for this road, for all 10 roads, and not one of the liaisons submitted have been contacted by the contractors.
So you heard it for yourself. I was going to put in the earphone, I didn't bother. And I believe there might have been a little echo at first. I apologize. So you heard it for yourself. She wanted the people in South St. James, in her perfect English, that she said that them don't speak. Right? She wanted the people of South St. James to believe that the 9 roads were neglected, that the other 4 constituencies, which are held by the JLP, things are going for them. That's what she said. But only 1 road that eventually was dug up and left muggy. People can't use it in peace because, nothing going on that road. Right? That's what she said. And then she said, no, the other 9 roads, no, nothing going for them. That's basically what she was saying. And yet she went on and said that the contractors asked her to submit some people's name. And she submitted the names and all, no, they're not contacted. Ended up revealing that there are contractors ready to fix the road, they just don't start yet. So when she claimed that there was nothing going on for the road, that is what she was supposed to say on top. But you see, when you're not very bright and very intelligent, anything can happen for you. So that was what I wanted you, and I already make all my points before she come on. Now, the next one now is let you hear what she said on Burchell's Bell program.
If a member of the government did something that's wrong in Parliament, I suspect the opposition will jump on board and say, hold on, you did something wrong.
Well, that's up for debate. Hold on. The rules of Parliament say you must speak standard English. That's not up for debate. That's the Standing Order 6, yes, isn't it? Yes, but we were in what is called a sectoral debate. Mm-hmm. And the rules of debate allow you to use literary devices. This was a disruptive communicative device where you use jargons, you use slangs, you use other languages. I was following the rules of English language itself, which gives you literary devices that you can use. I did not, however, challenge the speaker's authority. She made her decision. She had an option. To do what she did, which was quite predictable, or she could have risen to the moment to say, for our culture, for a spokesperson on culture to come into our house and to confidently speak our language, I could allow 2 sentences, because that's what she could have done. That's what she could have done as an enlightened leader, but... Was your presentation written entirely in Patois? Absolutely not. My first 2 sentences were written in Patois, again, for the shock value, to get the conversations going so that we can evolve our culture. Member of Parliament, are we not speaking about 2 different things? One is that there is a rule that shouldn't be there. That is one argument. The other one is that you did not follow a rule that is there. What about a youngster watching now and says, okay, so the Member of Parliament says, if I don't like the rule, I must just do it my way, and whether them like it or not, they must live with that. Is that a concern? Well, to your first point, as which you asked about changing the rule, I am very much intending to do what I can to help that to move forward. So I've already spoken to the persons from the opposition who are on the standing Order Committee of Parliament. It is chaired by the Speaker of the House, and we are going to be raising at the next sitting of that committee for our language, or first language, to be allowed in Parliament. It is chaired, as I said, by the Speaker and has majority government representatives on it. So if they are so enlightened, maybe we will see the laws changing. Secondly, about disruption. Disruption is not disrespect. A lot of people back in Sam Sharp Day and Paul Bogle Day would have said, how disrespectful of you to challenge the massa. How disrespectful of you to burn the plantations. That is disorderly. But sometimes, and I'm not at all likening myself to Sam Sharp or Paul Bogle, I'm talking about the moment when we have to decide, are we going to be like the frog boiling in the water and not realizing that we're disintegrating, or will we pop out of that hot water and decide that we're going to change, draw a line in the sand and change for the better, because our children demand that of us.
Yep. You're just suggesting that you should be allowed to use patois. You're not saying use only patois in Parliament.
Oh, absolutely not. As I said, rigorously teach our children to know English, to use it confidently, but also teach them the confidence of using their own language. That is our gift. That is the genius. That's a talent that has been given to us by our foreparents, and we shouldn't shy away from it.
What happens now? Next time you speak, what you gonna do?
Boy, I don't want to pre up myself. I don't know, I'm a country girl from Garland, so patois come out of my mouth naturally. I don't know I'm gonna say it and then me get run out of the house. I go try, but I'm still gonna use the systems, use the procedures in the house, be it bring a private member's motion if needs be, to allow me to talk naturally, man. The truth is, a lot of the things that we regurgitate in Parliament, some of us don't even understand it. We get these written things that we have to speak a certain way, and we're just like puppets speaking it when we have a beautiful language here that the world loves and we hate.
You did it because of your position as culture?
Spokesperson for culture and creative industry.
Beautiful language. And yet, she was not speaking the beautiful language on the program. She's going to now move a private member's motion. She never knows that she was supposed to do that before. Whenever she's going to speak this time around, because she was warned, right? So why didn't she do that in the first place? Now, you heard her referring to Sam Sharp, and, you know, it is true. You should read the missive that was put out by the governor at the time, based upon what Sam Sharp had done. And one day I'm going to read it for you. Very funny. I find it very funny. But the thing about Nekeisha Burchell is that now that you bring up Sam Sharp, let us move back into the past, not into the present. Let us not bring Sam Sharp into the present, because had Sam Sharp been in the present, he would have found that black people now around the country, and he would have no occasion to be warring, because Sam Sharp and Paul Bogle, they were warring the white people who were exploiting them on the pain of death if they refused to be exploited, and they were fighting back. Had Nekeisha Burchell and her personality, this fascination she has with powerful men, had she been born in Sam Sharp days, what would be her opinion? You think she would be talking the way she talk now about Sam Sharp and boiling thing? Oh no. She would not have been attracted to a man like Sam Sharp, because Sam Sharp had no power. Who would she have been attracted to? Who had the power on the slave plantation? Massa. You understand me? She would not have been trying to work her way into the field. Just as in the PNP, she worked her way up because she's connected to Peter Bunting, and she wants the risers, and, you know, her special relations evidently with Peter Bunting, we're hearing about, is what would have advanced her in the PNP. She could not have made anything at all in the PNP except a chairman maybe of some region. Maybe she would reach there, some, or, you know, some secretary. But she certainly, nobody would not take her up in a seat. And so she reached somewhere based upon her treachery. On the slave plantation, with her personality, what would Nekeisha Burchell have been? She would have been striving to get into the house, because that is where the power lie on the slave plantation. You agree with me? And you hear Karen Cross talk about her abandonment issues in terms of her wanting that is love, that is affection, and it was not available to her. And so she keep being attracted to these men who are emotionally unavailable. She, being of, you see her complexion, she might be mixed with other groups of people. But she would have been looking to be in the great house. And therefore, when Sam Sharp and the others stage a rebellion, it's highly unlikely that she would have been supporting Sam Sharp. Because if Sam Sharp were to be successful, Bakra might, have to give up. And all of the powers that she would have gained by being in Bakra's household and maybe in Bakra's bed, she would have lost all of that. So her reference to Sam Sharp today, as if to say she is somebody who supports, no, she's a person who supports power and she likes to be in the company of power. So had she been born in those days, had this personality been born in those days, she would not have supported Sam Sharp, and she certainly would not have supported Paul Bogle either. You see where my argument is going? Yes. Nekeisha Burchell, ancestor. When I listened to her, and that program that she did with that young fellow, where she talked about not taking somebody home to her mother. Imagine that. She has had many relations based upon what she was saying, and she never had a young fellow that she could take home and meet the mother. Must be a reason for that. And when you listen to her speech, as I said before, it's shallow. One must wonder is which one of your ancestors are dominating her, make her who she is today. And since she getting personal with the speaker, I'm sure she don't mind me being personal with her. But I would suggest that her personality was created on the slave plantation, not from Africa. Because in Africa, they had them rules and everybody abide by rules, right? She has a personality of somebody, it seems to me, that was a prostitute in a previous life. A prostitute in a previous life. That is the personality that appears to be dominating in her. Not to say that she's a prostitute, but her conduct, the way she's against rules, the way the way she loved this power thing, and lots and lots of people, right? That she can't carry home, but introduced to her mother. Her loose mind and her loose tongue is what suggests to me that that is what dominating her. Not somebody who is rebellious in the way in which she wants us to believe that she's rebellious. This love for power and powerful men, and this fixation that she has with the prime minister, and the vexation that she has with the wife, you know, when you look at that movie that Karen spoke about, Obsession, I started watching that and I turned off. It upset me. The gentleman was a black man, and he was it's an office, if I remember right, and he was I think the CEO or somebody like that, a powerful man. Now, when you're dealing with staffers, you need to be polite, charming, and all them kind of things in order to bring out the best in them. And this young woman apparently never had very good relations with men, and found a man, a black man, she was white, and thought he was charming, sweet, handsome, everything that she wanted in a man. And she evidently was the kind of woman that believed that anything she wants, she must get. Right? So she wanted this black man, and the fact that he was married was not an impediment to her going after him. Right? And as I said, when I watched the rest of the movie, it upset me. And this young lady is not a politician, and she should not have been in the parliament. And we warned the people of South St. James and said, do not put this young woman in our parliament. Right? She is flighty. If you listen to her speak it's just, I mean, what you're talking about is, she flighty. When you sit down, I don't know if anybody has ever had an opportunity. Me sit up on TV, and I don't know if you had, occasion to be in the company of people who into that business. When you listen to them argument, it's very specious, and them always seem to want to, you know, make you understand or make other people listening understand that they are people of worth, even though them doing something that society look down on. I am not saying that she does, but the personality that is in her dominating is of such a nature. And that is why her thinking is so loose and her mouth is so loose and she behaving in these stupid ways. It's not just her youth. I don't expect that she's going to improve with age. But you have some women them just flight it from them born till when they die. Right? And so she belittling the Speaker of the House, talking about what she should do from what she should not do, right? And she don't see any reason that she should respect the Speaker, none at all. And she not see no reason why she should respect the standing order. And had it been a man who was the Speaker, it would have been a different story for somebody like Nekeisha Burchell, right? And the woman is our problem. And she spoke about women. And well, let me not preempt you. Let me now play Deion Jackson Miller, which part she done now. See her here? Now, she's going to be telling you now how alarmed she is that the people are not talking about this more. And it is obvious why they're not talking about it, because that don't put money in their pocket, right? It don't help them in any way. Them community is no better or worse off by what them a chat about in the parliament, right? When they talk about GDP and all them, and surplus and all them something here, nobody explain to me all these things mean anyway. So what them not talking English or pathway, not what make them understand. Same words. But let us listen to her and hear our strange views.
So what are the rules in this case? Well, let's start with standing order number 6. That's the one a lot of people are talking about. And that says the proceedings and debates of the House shall be in the English language. Now, my first thought was, how is it every Jamaican who heard this, if you never know it before, never say, oh, what kind of foolishness this? Oh, what kind of backward this? How do people think it's okay in 2026 for us to have a rule that says we can't use our Jamaican language in our parliament? The People's Parliament, where 63 members of parliament sit, having been sent there by votes from the Jamaican people, the same Jamaican people who speak Jamaican, some of whom only speak Jamaican. How is it that people's reaction is not, we need to change this because it's a foolishness, rather than just defaulting to rules are rules? But if you're going down the rules are rules path, you should be aware of the fact that Parliament regulates its own procedures and can pretty much do whatever it wants within the bounds of the Constitution. So Standing Order 86 says any one or more of these standing orders may, after notice or with the leave of the Speaker, be suspended on a motion made by a member at any sitting. So now what are you going to say? MP Burchell didn't move a motion. She just started to speak in patois, which is why the Speaker shut her down, because rules are rules. Look, the Speaker could have easily have said, MP Burchell, please move a motion that you're going to be speaking in patois, and then, let's just get on with things. Instead of which, she chose to shut her down. Now, it's not surprising, because we all know by now how rigid and inflexible the Speaker has decided to be in carrying out her duties in chairing the House. And no, rigidity and inflexibility, in my view, do not make you a good speaker. The kind of tension and hostility we're seeing in the House of Representatives, this parliament, I have never seen before. I don't think it's useful to the parliament. I don't think it's useful to the people. And I think most of it is completely unnecessary. And it's due to the lack of discretion with which the Speaker leads the House. Completely unnecessary, and is due to the lack of discretion with which the Speaker leads the House. So yeah, this was political theatre by MP Burchell. Because you know something, I looked at her speech and only the first 2 sentences were actually in patois, right? 2 dege sentences. She never had any intention of delivering the full presentation in patois at all. And no, I don't have any problem with the political drama, with the little political theatre that she enacted, because I do think theatre and protest have an important role to play in highlighting problems in society, and that's what this has done.
Now, I would like Dion Jackson Miller to tell me what problem in society was highlighted. Here is a document that is showing that this is from the General Legal Counsel. Dion Jackson Miller has been an attorney at law. She was called to the bar, is the term they use, on November what? 18 in 2010. November 18, 2010. So she's an attorney at law. And you heard her for yourself talking about the inflexibility of the speaker. Now, as an attorney at law, I expect her to understand better than Nekeisha Burchell the protocol, because in the courthouse, the judge has discretion, whole heap of discretion, but the judge has to follow the rules, and the rules are precedents. There is a civil procedure rules that guides the procedures of the courthouse. And as I said before, the standing order are the rules that guide the procedures in the House of Parliament. If Dion Jackson Miller was an attorney before a judge in the Supreme Court, and it is time bound. So, let us say, for example, she represents a client and she was supposed to file a document by a certain time. When the time passed, Dion Jackson Miller cannot go to the court on the court date and say to the judge, Judge, the time passed. May I ask you for a little bit more time? The judge is going to say, start shuffle through our paper and say, where is that, Miss Counsel? And she's going to say, oh, but I did not file. You did not file? You're supposed to file an application for extension of time, for argument's sake. She didn't file the extension. She didn't file the application for extension of time, but she want the judge to extend the time based upon what she said. The judge are going to run her away, and she's going to have to ask for more time to submit the application. Aside going to the courthouse, because the courthouse is, you have to put your thing them in writing. Not all the time you have what is known as oral submission, but there's somebody that is recording it. It has to be recorded because if there is an appeal, the documents have to be there for the people them to go present to the Court of Appeal them arguments, or to the Privy Council, as the case may be. Right? As an attorney at law, she knows that that is how the Supreme Court works. You can't ask the judge, you can't go before the judge and tell the judge you want time, and there's no application before the judge asking for an extension of time. So the rules are there, and the documentation are there, and then even went so far as to prepare a sample of the documentation and what it is you need. If you present a document before the court and there is a requirement that you must have an affirmation at the end of it, and you fail to put in that affirmation, your case will get flung out. Dion Jackson Miller, you know that. So there are rules in the court, and the highest body in our land, the parliament, there are rules, and it's a standing order. And no, the speaker could not just make her do or just allow her. And the speaker would not know is only 2 sentences because she did not discuss it with the speaker before. So the speaker can say you need to go and move a motion, right? You complain that the speaker never tell her so she need to move a motion, and you have a point. The speaker did not tell her, but them same one to complain that when they do anything and the speakers, they're telling them what they should do, they are being treated like children. So the speaker, for whatever reason, decide not to tell her that she need to move a motion. Why should she? She could have, let me change that. She could have told, but she did not. Why is it none of her colleagues who are attorneys never asked for the motion to be moved? Them seem to know it's only 2 lines, right? It was all a setup. I tried to set up and embarrass the speaker to look like that she's inflexible. And you heard Dion Jackson Miller. The speaker is inflexible. How can she talk about inflexibility? The standing orders control the House, and it also controls the speaker and what the speaker can do. And what the speaker can do is use her discretion when it comes to time, when it comes to things that you need, motions you need to move. You have to do it under the same standing order, which is section 86. Suspend the meeting. Anybody coming with a motion, right? Unless it's the body and at the time them to move the motion. But you hear them all the while. Madam Speaker, and I'm asking for permission to suspend the standing orders in order to bring a motion. Don't you hear them? That is what you do. If you don't follow the rules, then what is the point of the speaker if she don't follow the rules? So when you talk about the speaker being inflexible and putting the onus on the speaker to be flexible rather than say that the members must follow the rules and follow the procedure and that they should have moved the motion. She said no, the speaker fault. All of this acrimony that is going on in the House is because she's inflexible. She's not using her discretion, right? And as an attorney at law, I wonder about some of the utterances of this young woman. She's not a young woman anymore. I think she's older than me too. So what you are talking about, Dion Jackson Miller? You want anybody more inflexible than a judge? When you're going to court to file any lawsuit, or there's a lawsuit and you're representing someone, don't you have to follow the rules? And if you don't follow the rules, what's going to happen? Work far worse than what Juliet Holness doing in the House. The judges sometimes cussing her off because she expect better from her. And more time. And the client is the one who represent, we have to go pay for that extra time because of incompetence. Let me let you listen now to the next one. So that is Dion Jackson Miller, fear of foolishness. Then she apparently heard Nekeisha Burchell in her commentary on the fix, which you're going to hear now. And my, was she in full flight? And the young people, they make you feel so comfortable. I don't think she remember said she was on I don't think so she remember that she was on the ear at all. Now this thing I want to move. Come see her there, where is she? The fix.
He did. He did. Well, we were told after the fact by the speaker that he had asked for permission.
Okay.
I don't trust the speaker.
So the problem,
so I don't know if that will happen or not.
Okay.
Me no know.
But you never asked her for permission before?
No.
Oh, I never feel they needed to?
No.
Okay.
No.
You like Juliet Holness?
I was just gonna.
You like her?
What are your thoughts?
I don't know her.
Okay.
I don't know Juliet Holness. I know the Speaker of the House.
Okay.
And the Speaker of the House that we have is very biased, very partisan, and in her own words, she said it on an interview recently, that she's learning to be fair. So I can't really play well with someone who is just at their ripe age now, just learning to be fair. I want a speaker who is able to look at the issues and weigh them, because let's go back to when I spoke the few words in Patois. An enlightened speaker in my mind could have looked at it to say, here's a culture spokesperson, a first-time MP, speaking a few words in Patois. Let me see where she go.
Yeah, like and
Let me see
probably
where she go.
pre it in context and see the whole picture. Let me see where she's getting.
Let me see where she go. And then by God, man, if she see me I go on 2-3 minutes into this, then stop me. But somebody who could have looked at the moment, who had that self-awareness, you know, and that comfort with her culture and her language and herself, maybe, could say, you know, let's do this for the culture. Let us allow 2 lines of patois to be spoken by the member, and maybe it could inspire that child in Johnson, that child in Catadopa to say, proudly speak your language when you need to speak it, confidently speak it. The moment was bigger than the speaker, and she reduced it.
It certainly. It certainly proved to be with all the social media commentary and you know people having them think pieces about it. Why am I asking if you like her? Because this is the first tiff with her. Because I think last year she, you know, have a little tiff there as well. I think she have you as a blabberer all one. You think she like you? Let me ask you. You think she like you? I think she have something against you?
I don't think she know me, but the truth is, I know me alone. She have problem with it. I just think the speaker is. She likes to be in control. And I mean, that kind of control that perhaps you can get away with in a marriage. If you want to control your husband, for example.
That's crazy.
You can't control grown people sent to parliament to represent their people. There is disorder and disrespect, but then there's also control. because, it's not a school mistress, that's not a school mom with children in a basic school. We were all elected and sent there. But for me, I don't want to make this conversation about the speaker. I want this conversation to go back to women being given responsibility by their citizens to go and represent them in the House. And women, we know we have a higher bar to pass. So when we when we reduce our role to be tit for tat and just just petty and catty, it reduces all the work that so many women before us did to get us here.
Yeah.
That is the part of it that I hate. When women refuse to rise to the moment, to rise to the power that has been given to them, and then they just abuse it and reduce it to just being catty.
Because that's what I wanted to ask you, because I'm kind of at a crossroads with how people feel towards the speaker, and you as well, with the exchange that you had with her, and just being a female in politics, the pressure that comes with it. And when people look on to her, maybe if she let certain things slide, then they'll see her as a walkover. So she has to show a certain level of authority, I guess. But I can still see with your side what you were saying, she could just give you a little chance to say a part of it and then stop you in your tracks. But at the same time, you already know that standard English is supposed to be done during your presentation. So it's like, I'm kind of stuck in
You kind of torn.
Yeah.
All right. So let's think about it. Yes, women get a harder time in what they're doing. So she may feel as if she is unfairly or overly attacked. I think the challenge...
not to cut you, especially seeing that a lot of people think that she has that role due to her relationship with her husband, the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Which makes it even more important for her to look into herself and say, let me try to use this role to dispel those rules. Make them say, boy, it's because my husband a prime minister, why people say, why me get this work, but let me show them some competent. Let me show them some fear. Let me show them say, what goes for the goose goes for the gander. Let me show them say, I don't need to interject into every argument and make them say, women are emotional and women are this and women cannot lead and women cannot that.
Yeah.
She has the power within herself to change the narrative. Again, I don't want to be talking about the speaker because then I'm not helping the conversation that has helped women to get where we are today. I don't want to focus on her. We have so many other powerful women in parliament on both sides of the aisle who are doing big things for their constituencies, doing big things for their country without the cattiness.
Yeah.
And I rather to focus on them.
One more question about the cattiness before we move on.
Okay.
Just for clarity, you never called her Yamid last year, right?
No.
And some people have it say Yamid, they call her.
No. Watch the video. Watch the video. So we were speaking. I was making a presentation in Parliament, and I was asking for planting materials for my farmers, and I was listing them, but she said I wasn't asking a question. So I was pointing out to her that yam head, when I said it, was actually a question. There was a question mark after the yam head. Yam head.
Okay. That's what I think she have as a blabber now. That's why she say, I don't want she talk too much and she need to get to the point
But she's with every member of the opposition. Member?
Do that again? That
sounds the same.
Member.
Now, I apologize to you because I was having a conversation. I had switched and I could have sworn you were hearing me and you were having a jolly good conversation. I was peeping and see that nobody said anything and I should have asked, were you hearing me? So I was talking during the time and when it wasn't frozen, I stopped it and I was in another section of the video talking. It switched the sound, but you weren't hearing. Now, it is what I was talking about, her looseness, right? And she was talking about the cattiness of the speaker the incompetence and she bias and then things that are going on within her. And how she could have waited, until she, said what she have to say, and she could have rise to the occasion, and all of these things has nothing whatsoever to do with the rules of parliament. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that this is a very loose-mouthed young woman. With all her education, that education has done nothing for her. It has not advanced her in any way. She might have the piece of paper to say that she is qualified based upon what she write down on a piece of paper and she passed her exam. But in terms of it being able to assist her in critical thinking, not fair at all. So you heard her. You heard how she was talking on that program and talking about the prime minister's wife, the speaker. The speaker, she said, right? She talked about her being controlling. Now, why is it that she's mentioning her control? It is not because she's a speaker. She said that she likes to be in control. And I need to explain something to you, which you probably know already. Right? It is not because she's a speaker why she said it. She said it because she's a woman. Remember her background. She grew up in a Christian home with a pastor for a daddy. And she had a mommy too. And oftentimes, those persons who ascribe to the Christian faith, they do not believe certain things about women. And one such thing, they don't believe that women, in Paul, you guys know this section, so you can probably quote the section, right? Where Paul said that women are not supposed to preach in churches. And he gave his argument, right? He never said that. God told him that this is what to be done. He was reasoning it out on his own, reasoning that women should not preach because men are supposed to be head of the women, not the women the head of the men. So when you have these people like she, they have a problem with women who has control. The speaker has control of the house because of the standing orders. The standing orders, Constitution create the speaker, and the standing orders give her authority to manage the house. Now, why is it that she has a problem with the speaker, who's a woman, exercising what she called control? She likes to be in control. I am wondering if it is the men in the parliament that have a problem with that, because with most of them, the man up on the right side, they don't like women. They don't like women at all. We know that, right? And I can well expect that people like a Peter Bunting, that uppity Negro, Mark Golding, Dayton Campbell, perhaps the Dwayne Vaz, right? Who else? Ian Hales, and you have, I don't know about Russell, but Dawes may not like it either, right? What is the speaker doing? Telling them when to speak, when not to speak, how long they can speak for. That is exercising control over them as men, and they don't like it. And I'm wondering if it is them so in the background that she is coming on this program to say in her way that yes, you might be able to get away with controlling a man. You cannot expect to be controlling people. Yes, controlling people. Which people is she talking about? The men. It is her prejudice that is coming through, that clearly her parents would have inculcated in her brain. The parents, that's where it came from. And the Bible. And this is how she would have been brought up to think, that a woman must know her place, right? And maybe this is the source of her feeling of inadequacies, right? She would have been told that a woman is not to seek control. And I had a psychologist who was, living at this place I was living at in Montego Bay. And she likes to talk about women who have a controlling nature. Control is supposed to be the purview of men. As so she tell me, I'm here one of them who have a controlling nature, she said, right? And that is not good. And you need to control. We need to control my instincts to be controlling. That's basically what you were saying. So Nekeisha Burchell was not only talking about the speaker in terms of, control, just like that. Are the men them she talking about, right? She in a fear pea brain is seeing the speaker because she in the parliament now. She's sitting there and she's sitting down with the other man. Them when I like woman, Mark Gully. No woman can sit down behind Mark Gully. Always men around him. Notice. And there's always somebody assigned to the seat behind him. No one woman after him, not even Nekeisha Burchell. A weirdo. That's what he is. Right? He may tolerate the black people around him, but not black women. So when she spoke to me, I believe that when she spoke about the speaker being controlling, and that she was referring to, you can get away with controlling your husband or your yard, but when you're out there, do not try to control. You can't expect to control people who was elected by other people. What the backside? Huh? What do you mean she cannot control people who were elected by other people to come to the house? If you don't want to come, don't go. If you don't like the fact that she's there exercising control over the house, which is what the standing order says she must do, then don't go. You don't have to go. That way, no money that won't come out of your pay. Just make sure you don't miss 6 consecutive sittings without giving good reason. No go. So that to me is part of her loose thinking. She has loose thinking, which results in her loose mouth. And she's out there talking because she don't think that the people out there understand. The people them smarter than you think, Nekeisha Burchell. And so I think that this is where people may have missed what it is that she was really talking about. In addition to her implying that Juliet must control her husband or her yard, she was also talking about her likeness for control. So she, Nekeisha Burchell, like control. And then she spoke about, she don't want to talk about the speaker, because, and then she talked about her cattiness. What cattiness is she talking about? Is it some mad woman in a clean clothes? The speaker, every time she opened her mouth, members, and she, let me tell you, and she reads standing order so and so. How is she catty? Nekeisha Burchell. How is she catty? A stigma that she's placing on the woman. A man, when Heroy Clark sit down in the speaker's chair and quote the standing order, is he being catty? And she's talking about women being elevated, like woman beg anything. It's only in the European society and them the society with them the people there that you have this paternal, what you call it? This system, what they call it now, right? Where they believe a man must rule. On the African continent is a different story, right? We have a matrilineal society for the most part on the continent. It is the Muslims and the Christians that them are the ones who have pushed this idea about man and man to rule and woman must be somewhere else, right? And any society that actually try to practice that, they never succeed until them start to bring women into the workplace. That is how the European society them start to, because man alone can do this thing. Yes, they can do the heavy lifting, but you need some brain power and they need the help sometime. And the good thing about it is them recognize that women have certain amount of intelligence and them go and then create and then do things. And together we strive. But you're not into that. You have a problem, first of all, with the speaker because she's the prime minister's wife and he's emotionally unavailable to you. Right? You want him because you want a powerful man. Peter Bunting in us not these days. So, wait, fling him on one side. Set your eye up on higher stakes. So you have a problem with a woman because of her husband. That's the first thing. And then now you have a problem with a woman because she likes to be in control. Yeah. Once you control her husband area too. But when she come out, don't expect to control them, and where she are doing at the house. She control them. And if them pass them place, she had the power, or not she. The other side has the power to move a motion to have them suspended for the day or more. So the whole of Una look to go into government. And I tell you something, people, had it been that if you were stupid enough to put them in power, and them was the one in the parliament, them would have been behaving the same way worse. I don't know what would have come of parliament. Right? Everybody just walk up and down like, and I eat, and I pick out things out of their teeth, and I walk and I chat and things in their ears, and then they on phone and then they on laptop, and they like them they go out of the picnic where them send go reform school. Right? What kind of speaker them would have had? Would she have been the speaker of the house? Lord have his mercy. And you think she was going to go allow? Well, right? She, I don't know, because she says she's not speaking about the speaker. She wants to speak about other great women on both sides of the house, which great woman upon the PNP side of the house, and which great woman upon the JLP side of the house. They never ended to ask her who she at all. Which great women are on the JLP side of the house? What you have our ministers doing them job. Which great woman you have on the PNP side of the house? She? How many of them you have anyway? You have she, you have Denise, if they labor and carry out them numbers, paying attention to our constituency, should have lost that seat by 99 votes in a 2020. The way the party was divided. You have Natalie Nita. Who else you have? Which other female? Which one of them great? Babsy has been there forever, right? And the rest of the JLP ladies, them young. So when she talk about they're great people, is herself she talking about, she's not talking about nobody else. A conceited and self-centered young woman that has a problem with her self-esteem. If you can believe that that is possible for the two of them to work hand in hand. Had she been on the slave plantation, what would she have been? Looking to see how she can find her way in a master bed and in a master favor. That's her personality. And she come in our house, beg your pardon, their house that we're paying for. So we are strangers in the house. And believe that she should be the one that rule inside here. What else is going on with that woman? She come with her low cut something now who she attract. She shouting to the prime minister when they making the prime minister, your wife is this attention she wants. Because he went and had a nice word with her, and I believe it was she, Denise, Daly, and some other PNP women in past and said something nice and smiled on them and gone. And she had this fixation on this man. You're not getting this, you're not getting. Man, I look on you. Man, I've been wife from them I go high school, first farm. But then again, that don't matter to you. All you want is, well, you know what you want. Let me see if there's anything else I have to bring to you. She must, and then I made a reference. She must, she's not doing anything to dispel this idea that she got the job because she is the prime minister's wife. You should have Dalrymple to deal with, and they would have something to say, right? Dalrymple was not an easy woman. She was not an easy woman either, and she loved to be in control. Anyway, folks, I don't think I have anything else for you. Let me see. I think that's that. Let me see in the comment section now. I have a difficulty if I'm going to use this phone. 100%, and we can plug it out now. All right, so little interviewers, be careful. No, man, let them ask them question, man. because as she answered it, she chose to answer the question, right? That she gets a chance to show that she's competent. How does a Speaker of the House show her incompetence other than to apply the rules? And she has not said that the Speaker is not applying the rules. She's saying the Speaker should, give them a chance to do what they feel like doing, and so that they don't have to abide by the rules themselves by moving motion and all them sitting. They allow them to do what they do. It's a patty shop, the fish market. Or maybe but even in a church, her daddy would tell her there are rules. And I'm sure she had rules in her house, so she had to abide by, or to be boof baff, beef baff on her behind. Right? Loose thinking and a loose mouth. Is what it is, right? Let me see now. Oh my. Nasty bunch. Yes, Trimbella. Nasty bunch of people, man. Yes. You see, them problem is that them expected to be the one over that side. Remember Mark Bolin said, when we are over this side and you are over our side, that's what I'm saying in budget speech. Right? So the one of them over the shame. And them lucky the Labour Party now, laugh after them about it. Hello, Sharon Bless. Let's see. Russell is following them. All of them PMP is the same, says school. No, you need to clarify your language, ma'am. You mean the risers will capture the PNP? PNP people not answer at all. Even with the JLP in control, right? Even they might say something will go wrong and them sit and talk about it, and it's up to the JLP to take them advice or not, or then shut them out. But they would not have been wanting to see the country fail. Why? Who benefit from that? But if the country fail, that's why you go. You understand? So them a bunch is totally different something. Oh, Jesus, my dear. My dear Marcia Monroe. Have mercy, can you imagine what our parliament would be like? Most of them won't imagine that. Hey, Mikhail, you come to the front of the class. That is what I'm at. Women are women. Why is it YouTube messing with my people? But then chat to them one chat. Nekeisha Burchell should be there advocating for her constituency, but that's a problem. In the program, she went on to talk about them talking about her getting paid. Them appear and she needs to do her work. And that is our problem. She cannot provide the people with bread, so she put on this circus. A circus that has nothing whatsoever to do with us. It has nothing to do with the people's business, whether or not they want to chat patois, French, English, or as long as they might chat something that we understand. It has nothing to do with me and you. It's a parliamentary procedure, and it's them alone it affects. So she's trying to make for them problem our problem. And our problem is what going at the constituency. She needs to represent the people. And she find out now that the 10 roads then, you see, that is part of her problem. The 10 roads that Woma Davis recommended to be fixed, they're going to be fixed. And everybody knows that she never had nothing to do with that. So this is our circus that she put on, and she wants the popularity, and we're giving it to her. And if she have anything more to say, we're going to give her the full floor and let her see how she loves popularity. But you said to that. You agree? Yes, ma'am. Anyway, that's it for me today. I don't think I have anything else to say. And I won't ever promise you anything. Hope I'm deal with that already. So let me thank everyone for joining me today. And don't know when I'll be back. But if there's something to talk about, I will give you notice. So just look out. And remember, everybody, to give the video a thumbs up, to share the video, and of course, subscribe if you have not yet done so. Also, I'm going to ask everyone to turn on the notification bell. When you subscribe, you see to the right, you see that little bell. If it has a line through it, it means your notification is not on. So please turn on that notification bell so whenever I upload a video I'm live, you will know. Let me thank you all today for joining me. And until next time, you take very good care of yourselves and walk good.